I'd like to call Board of Trustees regular meeting Tuesday, September 3rd, 2019 at 6:30 to order. Please rise and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Meeting agenda.
Okay, bear with me a minute because we have some changes. First item is we need to add an item A, which is an ordinance revision request. That will be item A. Then we're moving what's on our agenda as item A down to B. Item C, which shows as a shared employee, is actually going to be two items, which will be C and D. C is a request for the clerk's office, and D is a request for the planner and supervisor's office. Item E becomes the community room window covering proposal. F becomes the Gratiot Avenue reader board sign proposal. And then G is a phone allowance for the planner.
Any other additions or deletions, please?
I have none.
Okay.
Make a motion that we approve the agenda as amended.
I'll second.
Motion by Clerk Kendall, supported by Treasurer Honnold. Any other questions or discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Thank you. Letter 4, approval minutes 8/5/2019, 8/28/2019.
I'd like to make a motion that we approve the minutes from 8/5/2019 and 8/28/2019.
Second. I have a motion by Trustee Gurley, supported by Trustee Clifford. Once again, any discussion, any questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Thank you. Number 5, public announcements. Sir? Good evening.
Good evening. My name is Brian Wamsley. I'm the superintendent for Richmond Community Schools. And first of all, I want to thank you for the opportunity to speak to you tonight. As you know, Richmond is one of the school districts that falls within Lenox Township. And I just want to share a few highlights that I'm sure you've heard from other districts, but some of our accolades and some of our accomplishments and why I'm here tonight. Recently in Niche's 2020 Best Schools, Richmond Community Schools was named the safest school district in Macomb County. We're in the top 5 for the best school districts and best teachers as rated by our academic scores and parent and student feedback. In the top 10 for the best places to teach in athletic programs. Bridge Magazine also named us with our improvement scores as academic state champions for showing significant improvements. And part of what we're most proud of as a community is our current senior class, the class of 2020, has exceeded the state, county, and national averages by 20, 30, and oftentimes even 40 points on the SAT scores that were just recently administered. So why am I here tonight? The Board of Education recently authorized a bond to be placed on the November 5th election. And part of the reason is space in our district and improving our facilities. For the last 5 years, we've shown a 300% increase in our early childhood programs. It's been almost over 20 years, but we now have added a 5th section of kindergarten and first grade. We're closing the achievement gap, or the enrollment gap, between the graduating seniors and the incoming kindergartners. And most recently tonight, I had the privilege of welcoming the class of 2033 and 2034 to the Blue Devil open house night and meeting, and the place was packed, showing that 300% increase in our early childhood. So, to address the needs of our facilities, the board has authorized and placed on the ballot a $38.7 million bond proposal on the November 5th ballot. If approved by the taxpayers, the tax projected would increase 1.45 mils, or about 40 cents a day for the average homeowner in those that live in the Richmond Community School District. While some will pay more, most residents will pay less than 40 cents per day. The bond proposal focuses on investing those revenues in 4 areas. student safety enhancements, facility upgrades, improving the learning environment at all schools, and improving and updating the school's athletic facilities, which has been almost over 20 years in most cases for any of those improvements. Most significantly, with the enrollment increase, and with this year we're on track to be approximately 50 students greater than what we budgeted for, there are some additions. At the elementary school, we're looking at 3 additions on the elementary school. In the next 5 years, we're projected to have another 100 students growth in our district. Every bond project that's been proposed and reviewed by the board and approved by the board was also approved by the Michigan Department of Treasury. The last bond that was approved by the voters was in 2013. All the projects completed in that bond were on time and under budget. We now take the next step to keeping our schools safe and updating our facilities. More families are choosing to move to the area and are enrolling their students in Richmond Community Schools. That's good for our schools as well as the communities we serve, particularly Lenox Township. As I said, the enrollment is expected to increase by another 100 students within the next 5 years. Currently at the elementary school, we have 1 classroom left for space after moving 4th grade to the middle school. We have maximized and utilized all the spaces in our district. To accommodate the current and projected student growth, we have several additions, not only in the early childhood wing, but also at the elementary school and at the high school. There's a fact card I left in front of you that gives you additional information about the bond. I would encourage any listening member of the audience and the township to visit our website on the fact card and click on the 2019 bond proposal. It gives a detailed explanation of the bond projects by building. If you want any tour of our building, you can walk through all of our buildings. You'll see an orange sticker on everything that the bond will be replacing, upgrading, or improving if approved by the board voters. Thank you for your time, and I appreciate your support. Thank you.
Thank you, Brad.
Thank you.
Any other public announcements? Public comment? Any public comment? Okay. Consent agenda. All items listed under this consent agenda are considered routine by the Township Board and will be enacted by one motion. According to established Township meeting rules, there will be no separate discussion of these items unless a member of the board or public so requests at or prior to the meeting, in which event the chair of the meeting may remove such items from the consent agenda for discussion and consideration under agenda item number 8 below. Approval of the consent agenda shall be by a majority roll call vote of those present and voting.
I have for your consideration this morning or this evening bills, orders and bills in the amount of $736,249.41.
I make a motion to approve the consent agenda with the approval of orders and bills from August in the amount of $736,249.41.
Thank you.
Second.
Second. Okay, I have a motion by Treasurer Arnold, supported by Trustee Gurley. Any other questions, discussion? Deputy Clerk, roll call, please.
Arnold.
Aye.
Gurley.
Aye.
Trombley.
Aye.
Clifford.
Aye.
Kendall.
Aye.
Motion passes. Thank you. Letter 8, no items. No items have been removed from the consent agenda. No unfinished business. Number 10, new business. Letter 8, ordinance revision request. Mr. Safe.
Thank you, Mr. Supervisor. Board members, good evening. As you know, we had some questions about certain sections of the ordinance that needed some clarifications, and in talking with the township attorney, it's time to do a little update regarding the pavement standards that we have in place. These ordinances were never updated since '08, so we'd like the board authorization to re-look into the pavement standards and bring it back to the board for adoption next month. So we're looking for authorization for myself and the attorney, and with the help of the planner, to work on this task.
I'd like to make a motion that we authorize the engineer the legal, and the planner to work on the ordinance revision and specifically regarding paving.
Okay.
I'll second.
I have a motion by Clerk Candle, supported by Treasurer Arnold. Any other questions?
This is also including asphalt millings.
Yes.
Any other questions? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. Thank you, Mr. Safe.
Thank you.
Okay. All right. Letter B, Senior Center Coordinator Advertisement. Everybody, should have copied that. Any questions? Motion.
I'd like to make a motion that we approve the advertisement for the senior center coordinator, one time in the Voice newspaper as presented.
Second.
I have a motion by Trustee Gurley.
Do I need to read the ad?
$12 an hour, this one says $12.58.
I thought that's what we were doing.
$12.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right,
Okay.
just so, because this says $12.58 on it, so.
So I'll just change that.
Yes. 12, please. Wonderful.
I need to
Get a
read
motion,
the ad.
please. Yes.
I need to read the whole ad.
Just make the motion.
Okay. I'd like to make the motion that we change the ad to read the wage of $12 per hour for the senior center coordinator to be placed in the Voice newspaper.
Thank you.
I second that motion.
Motion by Trustee Gurley, supported by Clerk Candle. Any other questions? Discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. Thank you. Letter C, shared employee advertisement. Shared employee, I'm sorry, my agenda is all
It's
crazy
okay.
from the changes.
Yeah.
Shared employee advertisement request, clerk's office, and / shared planning supervisor's office. Clerk Campbell, you want to take this?
Well, first thing we want to consider is the clerk's office is asking for permission to make an ad to hire an employee to assist in the clerk's office. This latest round of medical marijuana is kind of getting us a little backed up, and elections, we just need help. So that would be the first item that I'm looking for. And then the second item would be for a shared employee to be shared between the planner's office, the supervisor's office, and I believe possibly picking up some things in the DPW.
And code enforcement.
And code
Well, four
enforcement
departments.
planning.
Pardon, what'd you say, Ron?
For all 4 departments. My office in coordination with the planner's office, code enforcement, and possibly some filling into DPW. First and foremost, planning with code enforcement, with the planner.
She'd work under Steve's direct supervision.
It'd be under my office supervision, but through his department also. Yeah, when that employee would be in his office, he would be their supervisor. He'd be telling them what to do.
I would like to make a motion that we allow the clerk's office to advertise for a helper,
Clerical assistant or
whichever, and for the, also for the supervisor's office, the planner, code enforcement, and possibly DPW.
I have a question, those have to be 2 separate motions.
I would think it'd probably be best if we did 2 separate motions. We're talking about 2 separate people,
Right.
so.
Okay.
Want to do the clerk's office first?
Sure.
So, all right. She has a motion in the clerk's office.
Second.
I have a motion by Treasurer Honnold, supported by Trustee Clifford. Any questions or discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Next one's regarding the planner, supervisor's office, DPW code enforcement.
I'll support Mrs. Honnold's motion.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So I have a motion by Treasurer Arnold, supported by Clerk Kendall. Once again, any discussion or any questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. Thank you. Okay. Letter E, community room window covering proposal.
I have been working on these proposals. I have one supplier or possible vendor that hasn't called me back. So I'm working on a third. I got a call from Kathy Thompson today. She's possibly going to meet me here tomorrow night at about 7:30 to look at it. It's the only time she can make it. She said her company or family have some family issues. I spoke with her about 4 o'clock today. That would be my third quote to follow our ordinances. So when she gets done there, I should have something possibly next month, or if we did to get the sign thing going, which is the next thing on the agenda, I might ask, when I have everything put together, ask for another workshop meeting because of the weather, fall closing, especially on the sign issue. In here, no. But outside, to get it done, it would take probably 4 to 6 weeks to get it all done, so I want to get that started. But those two items, also going into the sign, which is F, or do I need a motion to table that?
Yep, do the first
I'd
one.
like to make a motion to table E, the community room blinds.
Okay.
I second.
A motion by Trustee Clifford, supported by Trustee Gurley. Any other questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. Tabled. Next one.
I'd like to make a motion to table F on the display board sign out in front of the
Direction
township hall.
reader board sign proposal. Okay.
I second.
I have a motion by Trustee Clifford, supported by Trustee Gurley. Once again, any question or discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Once again, tabled. Now, letter G. Trying to make sure I do this correctly.
That's right.
Is that the phone allowance for planner?
Yes.
Letter G, phone allowance for planner. Look, you want to take that one?
Sure, we have purchased a laptop that's going to be kind of a shared between our planner and possibly a backup for voting if we run into a problem with our current laptops.
Code enforcement planning.
Code enforcement planning, and then possibly a backup on election day if we have a problem. In doing that, I checked about getting a hotspot for code enforcement to use when they're out on the road or in court. And I was basically told that the easiest thing to do would be to hook his phone up and use that as a personal hotspot. Then he's not carrying around extra equipment, and it's more cost effective. So in that vein, I would like to make a motion that we, beginning with this current pay period, put in our budget a phone allowance for the planner in the amount of $25 per pay, which would basically be repayment for the use of his personal phone whenever he
Would
has
that be
it.
enough to cover what it's going to take?
You know, that's the only thing, just thinking about it too. With ours and is that amount sufficient, or so we should look at making sure we cover a significant portion? Because I know these plans are a lot more.
Probably a crapshoot. You don't really know.
I guess I would suggest that we try it for a couple of months, and if he notices a significant change, then we revisit it and say it's not working. Would that be?
I just want to make sure, and even with ours, I know that the phone allowance, because of the way we use our phones, is covered. So I guess
Sound
we'll.
reasonable to you, Mr. Planner?
Yes, thank you.
Okay.
Okay, so at this
Motion?
point, my motion is to put in place a phone allowance of $25 per pay to the planner for use of his personal cell phone.
A second.
I have a motion by Clerk Kendall, supported by Treasurer Arnold. Any other questions, discussion?
I have none.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Thank you. Public comment? No public comment? Okay. Number 12.
I make a motion, we adjourn at 6:52.
I second.
Motion by Treasurer Howe, support by Trustee Gurley. Once again, any discussion, questions? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed?